Hi, welcome to another presentation from English 365. This is another in the series of English for Colombians. And today we're going to talk about interviews in English. Interviews for English-speaking roles and how to pass them, or at least how to prepare for them and give yourself the best opportunity of passing them. Now at English 365, we prepared lots of people for interviews across the world, and this video is a result of feedback from some of them. Obviously, there are a number of interview questions that crop up. We're going to cover 10 of the most common. Before we do, it's best to remember, this is not about providing the right answers. It's about demonstrating that you are the best candidate for the job. Before we get into the questions, there are a few things that really need to be automatic. Obviously, we need to research the company, practice responses to questions. We need to sound relaxed and natural, and be on time or a little early. Common sense, but they do need to be mentioned. Okay, so as I say, these questions come up time and time again. When we ask for feedback from students, we prepared. Tell me about yourself. Usually the first question asked in an interview, it serves as an introduction. Now it's open-ended. This allows the interviewee to discuss the background, qualifications, and experiences in a way that's relevant to the job or the role that they're applying for. Now you need to keep this fairly concise. A good way to start is maybe with after you've spoken about hobbies and personal interests, maybe start with your current or most recent position and work backwards. You can highlight here key qualifications, experiences, as well as any achievements that demonstrate ability to excel in this particular field. It's also a good idea to mention how your background and experiences align with the company's mission and values. It's a way of getting over very early that you've researched what the company does and you're very enthusiastic about joining. This enthusiasm is quite important, you know. They're going to ask why you want to work for this particular company. And this is designed to assess your level of interest, really, and the enthusiasm for the company and the role. It's important to demonstrate your knowledge of the company, mission, values, culture. It's an opportunity to express how your qualifications and experience align with the role, how you can contribute to the company's goals. What are your strengths and weaknesses? This can be difficult, especially the weaknesses. The thing to remember is this is about self-awareness and ability to identify your own areas for improvement. You need to be honest. You need to provide specific examples to support your answers. If you are going to mention weaknesses at this point, you also need to mention how or what steps you are taking to address these weaknesses. Difficult question, but with a little bit of preparation, it can be overcome. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Obviously, this is asked to assess your long-term career goals. how your goals align with the company's goals. So we're talking about ambition and enthusiasm again, while being realistic. It's important to mention here that this is perhaps not, or this particular interview, this job, this role, this remit, is more than just a stepping stone to a bigger company. For instance, we have a student, a number of our students have been asked this question. One of the students used this opportunity to clarify that he was employed on a temporary basis and he was looking for stability and a more permanent position. Now, he was successful. This was obviously what the company wanted to hear. He was successful. 6 years later, he's working for the same petrochemical company in the Emirates. So companies don't want to be retraining and re-interviewing more than they have to. So this is an opportunity to talk about being, hopefully I'll be with a company like yourself, or preferably yourself, in a more senior position, something like this. It's not a stepping stone. The obvious one, why should we hire you? This is where you summarize qualifications, experiences, demonstrate how they make you the best candidate for the job. Highlight key qualifications, experiences, achievements. And again, talk about the company goals, how those goals align with your goals, and how your ambitions and your plans align with the company goals and the role you are applying for. What are your professional achievements? This is all about finding how you achieve goals, your ability to meet targets. They're talking about your level of success in previous roles. Now, you'll need to practice a specific example or examples of your accomplishments, and how this demonstrates your ability to excel in your field, in this particular role or remit. They'll ask about specific skills or software relevant to the job. They're talking about proficiency here. Obviously, this differs from sector to sector and from role to role. So this is something you can be prepared for, that you can practice prior to the interview. And again, it's just a demonstration of ability. The time to think about this is before the interview, not during the interview. So with a little bit of practice, this can be easily passed, this stage of the interview. Stress. How do you handle stress and pressure? They're talking about how you manage challenging situations, whether you can stay calm under pressure. So you need to be sure to provide specific examples, not generic things, specific examples of how you've handled stress in the past. They could ask, do you think stress is a good thing, a bad thing? Is it something to be avoided? What they're really asking is how you manage stress, because stress comes with every position. The answers to this vary, but a little stress is a good thing. It's motivational. We've heard our students sort of mention, time management at this point. An answer to handling stress is having good time management skills. And so again, this is another stage of the interview that can be rehearsed prior to the interview. Obviously, you have to sound natural. There's no point going in there and reading a statement. And the overriding thing here is that you're demonstrating your skill with the English language. So you need to sound natural and be prepared. This question can come up in a number of different formats. Can you give me an example of a time when you solved a difficult problem? Tell me about a difficult problem. Who do you report to? How do you handle different problems? Obviously, they're talking about your problem-solving abilities and your ability to think critically. Again, specific examples, the steps you took to solve it, including the challenges you faced and how you overcame them. They will ask, would you like to ask anything of us? Now, the obvious one here is to ask about the company itself, the culture, the values. What are the primary responsibilities and duties of this role? How will performance be evaluated? Are there opportunities for growth and advancement? Do you promote from within? How does this role fit into the overall goals and objectives of the company? Can you tell me about any upcoming projects or initiatives the team will be working on or I will be working on? How does the team go on and on? There are lots of questions you can ask of the company. The one thing you don't say at this stage is, no, I don't have any questions. So again, with a little bit of practice, a little bit of preparation, this is not a difficult question to engage with. Remember, the questions will vary. Acronyms and vocabulary differ from sector to sector, and of course by role and remit. The following points apply to all interviews, regardless of industry sector, and they're universal. Research the company before the interview. You need to know about its mission, its values, its culture, and how your qualifications and experiences align with these factors. Your resume and cover letter need to be up to date. They need to be clear, organized, and tailored to the job that you are applying for. Obviously, highlighting qualifications and experience, or relevant qualifications and experience. Practice. You can practice your interview skills just like any other skill. Obviously, you're practicing your English, but at the same time, you're trying to anticipate questions that may be specific to the company or the role that you're applying for. So practice prior to the interview. This is invaluable. Dress professionally. Obviously, it makes a good first impression, shows respect, and it tells the interviewer that you're taking the interview seriously. Be on time. Be punctual. Plan to arrive a little bit early, a little earlier than the stated time. Be punctual. Should go without saying, but you need to be early. And you need to be confident. Maintain good eye contact. Speak clearly and concisely. You're selling yourself. And listen actively to the interviewer's questions. Everybody's nervous at interviews, but try to overcome that, and practice before the interview is a good way of dealing with nervousness. Be honest. You can't bluff. You can't exaggerate your experience. Everything's on your CV, but it doesn't take a lot nowadays to check out what you've said. Be honest, be direct. And show enthusiasm. You need to explain why you're excited about the opportunity to work there for this particular company. Be enthusiastic. Have the questions prepared. Prepare your questions. You need good questions for the interviewer about the role, about the team you'll be working with. be prepared. This following up is something some people don't agree with, but I personally don't see a problem with following up with a thank you note after the interview, expressing your gratitude and reiterating your interest in the role. Nothing wrong with that. And always remember, an interview is a two-way conversation. This is not an interrogation. You can use the opportunity to ask about the company, the role, the remit you're interviewing for. It's a two-way, it's a two-way conversation. Ask open questions. They'll certainly ask open questions of you. As ever, thanks for watching. And subscribe if you'd like to see more of these. Good luck, and we'll see you in the next video.